Max spit stats like a tactician. Link breaking plays down, surging with precision. Scoob got the jokes, punchlines hitting crisp. Whole squad on the mic, call it audible bliss. Gritter and gospel. We the chapel of the huddle, global reach, Titan speak. Breaking every bubble from the turf to the booth. Knowledge stay colossal. Podcast the playbook, no room for apostle. Titans global, we break it, we mold it. Talking pigskin, the truth get unfolded. Max Link School, we the squad, we the code. Football mind sharp, taking you across the globe. Max drop gems, X's and O's like hieroglyphs. Link dissecting plays, no time for the myth. School keep it raw, laugh till you cry. Huddle up, Titans talk, no flag, let it fly. Every league, every player, we dissect the grind. From the draft to the field, future stars in line. Whistles blow, helmets clash, stories untold. We bring the heat like cleats burning through the cold.
From kickoff to OT, every snap's a tale. Global Titans, we prevail, never stale.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to another episode of Titans Global Podcast. I am your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Link. What's up, Link?
What's going on, guys? Good to be here. Important guest tonight, so we will jump right into it. But before we do that, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Most importantly, get in the comments section. A lot going on. Just kicked off the offseason. Super Bowl is over. Officially into free agency and draft mode. So lots to talk about. Let's introduce Scoob. Let's introduce the guest and get right into it.
Uh-oh. Scoob, we're off to a great start. Scoob is already having technical difficulties. I'm getting tongue twisted. Link's getting tongue twisted. This is perfect.
We're gonna
exactly how we write it up, man. But no, special guest tonight. We got Stoney Keeley from Football and Other F Words podcast and 104.5. Am I correct that you're a producer on that, or what's your job exactly on 104.5?
I'm a sixth man. I come off the bench when they need me, and I do F Words on Thursday nights, and just talking Titans, man.
Okay, all right. Well, hey.
That's that country life for me right there, screwing up my internet.
Hey, man, it's all good, dude. I was going to say, I live out in the sticks, too. My internet is spotty at best. This is
thanks for coming on the show, Stoney. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm happy to be here anytime we get to talk ball. I'm game for it.
Yes, sir.
So, Stoney, give me a quick overview of just how this offseason's gone so far. Obviously, you know, the coaching hire search is a huge story. That's been the biggest part. They bring in Saleh, they bring in Dayball. What's your thoughts, your initial feelings on how this initially shook out?
Yeah, so I mean, my feeling on this is that the Titans really wanted a shift in culture and a shift in identity. They wanted to go from one energy to another, so to speak. And I can't think of a more polar opposite shift from the previous regime to a guy like Robert Saleh, who is very intense, just commands the room, very energetic, very intense guy. And then Brian Daboll, who obviously experience as the New York Giants head coach. Bones Fossil has some experience as head coach, albeit an interim label, but there's another guy with experience. And then they hire Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator. That makes 4 former head coaches on this coaching staff. So if you didn't get the memo by this, they probably want some guys that have some experience moving forward, some guys that have done this before. So I think it's a complete ideological shift for the coaching staff. And as far as the team building goes, we've got free agency on the horizon. The draft is a couple of months away. We are going to see how this new regime wants to mold this team moving forward, but definitely a breath of fresh air for sure.
I agree with that 100%.
You mentioned something there with having this many head coaches on this coaching staff. I mean, obviously looking at it on the paper, it sounds good, right? You know, like it's you've got leadership, you've got experience, you've got all the recipes that work. Does that scream cohesion, or do you think there could be a butting of heads at some point? Like, is there a concern for that to you?
Not for me. I think when you look at the example of Gus Bradley, I mean, Gus Bradley was somewhat of a mentor to Robert Saleh. They came up in the same system. Bradley's the guy that taught this defensive system to Robert Saleh. They go way back. Talk about Brian Dable, like he's going to have autonomy over the offense. And those two struck a bond when they were both in New York at the same time. For those that don't know, the Jets and the Giants have joint practices. They play in the preseason every year. They got to know each other through that. And Saleh's philosophy was, hey, I want to do something different. Everybody seems to be going for these McVay, Shanahan offenses. It's a big chunk of the league right now. We want to make it hard to game plan for the Titans, so we want to do something different. So I do think that there is that bond over the common goal to resurrect the Tennessee Titans. Now, we'll see if we get into this thing and they're not winning games, if we start to see a little bit of egos at play here. But for the time being, I think on paper it all sounds good at this point. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I agree. I am curious to know if, like, I don't know. For me, Saleh is just like you said, completely flips everything over as far as the characteristics of the person. Super strong character guy, players guy, instead of Brian Callahan, who was completely not. What kind of shift, other than just obvious things, do you think that we're looking at as far as, like, I don't know, play calling, maybe even drafting, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I think the biggest difference we're going to see is from a schematic standpoint. And I think that it's kind of being a little oversimplified that Robert Saleh is a 4-3 defensive mind with cover 3 or cover 4 quarters behind it. He's evolved over time. When he had Sauce Gardner in New York, pretty good in man coverage, lo and behold, the Jets played a little more man. Last year, when he was it was like a turnstile of bodies on that 49ers defense because of all of the injuries, got creative in blitzing, played a little bit more man, did a little more different stuff. He's proven to be adaptable throughout the course of his career. So I think with the front office still intact, you're still probably, and thinking like Mike Borgonzi's running the show, I'm still thinking they probably want the same type of player. They made character a priority in last year's draft class. They're looking for guys that can help in multiple ways. They know they're in a rebuild, that there's still a ways to go to shape this roster. So they're looking at appropriate value, those sorts of things. I feel like from a character standpoint and the type of personality they want to bring in the locker room, it's still the same. I don't think much is going to change from Callahan to Saleh, but where I do think things are going to differ, for one, completely different offense coming in here, and then a pretty different defense that Saleh can mold to his personnel, the players that he has, but I think they will be looking for guys that play a certain style. Denard Wilson played with a lot of 3-down linemen, a lot of 3-man fronts, and they asked the defensive linemen to do something different in those roles than we presume Saleh will. So I think, just little like technique differences, but overall, I think with Bergonzi still leading the ship, they're still going to be looking for the same type of player.
Interesting. So, did y'all watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we all. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Good question.
I don't know. I mean, was it a letdown for you guys? Like, I don't know. It's
No, because
nothing at
everything that
halftime.
I said was going to happen, man. I knew it was going to be a defensive battle. I did. I said 24-10. It ended up being, 29-13.
Yeah.
So it was everything I knew it was going to be. I like the defensive game. I didn't think it was that boring. I thought it was a pretty damn good game because of the defense. It's cool watching teams score 38-35, but when you see guys busting heads, and the Patriots had one first down in the first half? That's some defense right there, buddy.
Yeah.
I hope we get a defense like that soon.
I was surprised at how much Vrabel was outcoached in the first half, and then his inability to adjust. Like you just talked about with Saleh. Like you talked about more adjustment through a career. But that's one thing that he's been praised for, is his ability to adjust in game and make those halftime adjustments. And if there was one thing that Vrabel got knocked for in Tennessee, I guess it was that inability to adapt during game and, play these scenarios. So I don't know. It's what got him in the end.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I
thought
mean-
that he kind of skated by against Denver and kind of got out of that one, but he didn't make it through the Seahawks. That
They were
defense-
outmatched, man. The Seahawks are
Yeah.
better team, better players, better design, and that defense is just insane.
In a way, it felt a little bit like vindication for Titans fans too, because
Right.
we can get into the nuance of whether or not it was a good decision to fire Mike Vrabel, but I think the backlash afterwards, whether it was warranted or not, it just got to be too much, man. I got tired of hearing
Me
about
too.
Mike Vrabel being able to walk on water and turn water into wine and all that stuff. And yeah, he's a great coach. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but at a certain point, you kind of get sick of it and you kind of think, you know what, things weren't that great the last year and a half of Vrabel or so. So
Right.
for me, for one, I liked watching this game go down the way it did because now everybody watching the Super Bowl, the national stage, you've got it like Mike Vrabel stubbornly running the ball up the middle, Mike Vrabel
Right.
failing to make the adjustments, failing to open up the offense and just let that thing fly out there. How many Titans games did we see the team lose because of stuff like that? So now it did kind of feel vindicating to see, okay, on the national stage, he gets to this point, and that's what Titans felt for the bulk of 2023 when things were going sideways. So I like that. And then I also I love watching a masterclass in football. And that's what Seattle did, man. It was the purest form of football when you are just dominating an opponent and there is nothing that they can do about it. And you can see it, the look in their eyes. You see Morgan Moses on the sideline trying to rally the offensive line. Mike Vrabel's trying to get guys fired up, calm down, you're good, you can do this. And none of it mattered because Seattle was that good. Pretty flawless performance from that defense. So I would have watched that all night long. I was loving it.
They had that game won on the first defensive drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
They broke them the first drive.
You know what my favorite thing about watching that Super Bowl was? I mean, yes, we were talking pre-game show. I have a level of hate right now for Mike Vrabel that really isn't unwarranted hate. It's just that high school girlfriend that you broke up with and your mom and your dad won't let you forget about her because she moved on and she's got a much better job and a much better boyfriend, and screw that chick, man. Anyway.
I just felt like he gets a lot of unearned love. I guess not. I don't know.
It was just
a lot of unearned love.
Yeah, Stoney said it right, man. It was just too much. But beyond that, the entire time as I'm watching this with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, and they're just going on and gushing about the Seahawks defense, I was like, hey, did y'all watch the Titans game against the defense at Seahawks, man? I mean, Cam Ward played
a lot of people.
I mean, he played pretty damn good against them, and both of them were laughing at me. Yeah, and then this morning I get on Twitter and everybody's going, hey,
yeah, that was a
Cam
big thing
Ward
today.
on the Seahawks. It's like, yeah, man, that's exactly what I was. Damn it.
I mean, to be fair, it's a different setting, it's a different stage, but the point remains. I see the point. There is,
the biggest thing on all this is we're a long ways away watching that game.
I mean, the thing, we gotta the season that the Titans just had, we got to take our victories wherever we can get
it.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Finding solace in Cam Ward's performance against the Seahawks after yesterday. Hey, take your dubs. Take your dubs.
Yeah, man. It's the same thing when I bring up someone's individual achievements on there, and they're like, "Oh, well, your team still sucks." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." But I mean, if you can't, celebrate wins as a team, at least, celebrate individual achievements. If it's something, shit, we gotta have something to have,
Not much else. Not much else.
Exactly.
It was rough this year for sure. Yeah.
So Stoney, you being the draft guy, I don't want to let you out of here without getting some insight.
Yeah, I got a couple for him too.
Where do we stand right now? I mean, let's say the Titans stay where they're at number 4 and take a pick. What player are we looking at that's the game changer here?
I would really be hard pressed to pick anything other than one of the defensive line, defensive end, edge rusher types. And whether that's Reuben Bain out of Miami, whether it's David Bailey out of Texas Tech, or Arvell Reese out of Ohio State, who I'm not really the biggest fan of as a pass rusher, but when you factor in his ability as a linebacker, kind of one of those hybrid tweener guys in this defense, seeing what Robert Saleh has done with a guy like Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, even Jamian Sherwood up in New York, Quincy Williams, like the linebackers under Robert Saleh are critical pieces. So I think you factor in his range, ability to cover guys, and the potential pass rush ability, I think he could be a unique fit in this scheme. And then like the power of Reuben Bain, the explosiveness, and then David Bailey has just the well-rounded pass rush toolkit. I can't really see him going wrong with any of those guys, but I do think that defensive front is going to be their focus. I think they're going to value shop for cornerback, which this is a really good draft class to do that in, because you're going to get guys on day 3 in this class that are going to be starting games for you. Maybe not right out the gate, but I think you're going to get some dudes, some big, like 6 foot plus, 200 plus pound corners, like thrive in this defensive scheme. They're going to be available on day 3. There's some intriguing free agent options. I think they're going to patch that up. I think they're going to look to free agency to solidify the offensive line, address right guard if they can't talk Kevin Zeitler out of retiring and coming back. There's not a pathway for anything other than edge rusher from where I sit, given how there are question marks at the receiver position, because I do think that's a need, but I think you have to lean into the market on this one. There's not a number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I'm a fan of Mekhi Lemon. He has question marks. Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, he's got the medical history. Carnell Tate, I think there are questions about him. There's not a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase in free agency. So I think ultimately the dominoes fall so that they're taking an edge rusher at 4 overall, and we might see them try to get this team's wide receiver 1 of the future in next year's class.
You mentioned Bain there. Does the wingspan scare you at all? No,
not at all. Not at all.
I don't know. I watched him against these NFL ready offensive lines, and you just see him almost taken out of the game at some points. And that gives me a little bit concerned.
So the thing that concerns me about Bain, explosive guy, bendy guy, he plays with power. Power is one of the traits in an edge rusher that usually translates pretty well from college to the pros. Right. But the thing that worries me about Bain, he had a really good run in the playoffs. He had a really good game against Notre Dame to kick the season off when everybody was watching. Ratings were up, but there's a whole lot of football in the middle. So if you'd like turn on the Louisville game, for example, I think that was October, early November. The Louisville tackles, granted, there's some experience there. They've got a guy that's trying to be drafted in this class too. It's not like they're nobodies, but it's not like, some of these first overall tackles that top talent. Top talent. And he just wasn't finishing. Like they had him pretty well corralled in that game. And there were several games that I watched throughout that stretch. I think I watched the Stanford game as well. So even less talent than Louisville had. And there's just plays that, it's tough for me to sit here just watching the film, not having the chance to talk to the guy and figure it out. But when you watch some of these plays, it's hard not to question the effort because it doesn't look like a strong sense of finish. So I think it's possible that the Titans do their due diligence. They meet the guy. They figure out, oh, you know what? He was battling a bum ankle throughout October and November, and then he got better and everything was good. Maybe that's the case, but I do think there's some work to do to uncover why there was this lack of finish in the middle of the season, because it kind of looks on the surface. I'll put it this way. I think you could at least make the argument from watching the tape alone that this is a guy that knows how to turn it on in the big games, but isn't consistent in the games that maybe not the lights are not as bright. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Thank you. So let me ask you this. I know you said we should go defensive end, but give me a couple reasons why Lemon would be a good pick at 4, and let me know who, if they wanted to take a cornerback at 4, who would be in that spot in your opinion?
Sure. So to start with Mekhi Lemon, I haven't wrapped up my tape study on him yet, but I've wrapped up Jordan Tyson, I've wrapped up Carnell Tate, and unless there's a major surprise, I feel like Lemon's going to end up being my wide receiver one. I think there are questions about the size, the utility. Is 4 overall too early for a guy that projects as primarily a slot receiver? There's a discussion to be had there. But I think the Titans just need guys with juice. They just need guys that can win with speed, that can create with the ball in their hands, that can separate, like those pure playmaking types of wide receivers. I saw somebody call.
I think he's pretty juicy.
Yeah, he is. I saw somebody call Mekhi Lemon Steve Smith and Jigba, and I got the biggest kick out of that because I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what he looks like out there. It's like just this tough runner. He can move well. He knows how to get open, and I think that is what the Titans need in this passing group right now.
He's my pick.
another guy that can go out there and make plays. Now, your question about the cornerbacks, it's hard for me to envision them going corner at 4 just because of the depth of this class and the need at edge rusher. But you're talking about a guy like Mansour Delane out of LSU. I had trouble finding holes in his game. Frankly, I got 3 games into his tape and was just like, what? Somebody tell me what's wrong with this guy. And they're like, oh, watch the Texas A&M game. He goes up against KC Concepcion, and the deep speed concerns kind of they're evident there. And he does kind of feel like a late bloomer. I don't think his 2024 was as good as his 2025. So I think there is some digging to do there. Jermod McCoy, I think if McCoy, this might get me in trouble. This might be, I might get cold taked on this one. But if Jermod McCoy does not miss the entirety of the 2025 season, I think it's possible he ends up being the best player in this draft.
I agree with that.
His 2024 tape was some of the best cornerback tape I've ever watched. I mean, just like true lockdown potential. And my only question with him, it's not even about the injury anymore, because we see guys recuperate from that all the time in today's NFL. It's just the fact that he's away from football for an entire season. Like, how long is it going to take him? Yeah. So I think he's probably the most talented guy, but obviously has the concerns from being away from football. And then I really like Colton Hood a lot too. The other Vols cornerback. I think 4 is a little too rich for him, but this is a guy that was discussed as, oh, well, maybe he's going to be there for the Titans' 2nd round pick. And I don't think that's going to happen anymore. We just went down to the Senior Bowl. He knocked it out of the park that week. I've seen some analysts think that he could go as high as the top 10 in this draft, but some of the most fluid hips. I mean, this guy can just turn and run with anybody. I like the way he punches guys at the line of scrimmage. He gets his hand up. He gets his hand on a guy, not holding, but kind of establishing that bridge of contact. So like the receiver's not going to get away from him. Very smooth, very athletic, very good corner. But that's just, this group as a whole is going to be really good come April.
I wouldn't be mad if Lemon or Hood took that 4. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument that there are so many needs on this Titans roster that it's going to be somewhere. It's going to be hard to really screw that pick up.
So, in question, or to bounce back off of that, is there any scenario? Because I know there's some Titans fan out there screaming it right now, but is there any scenario where we trade down from 4?
I would love that. Now, I think the obvious preface to this is that it does take 2 to tango, and usually people want to trade up for the quarterbacks. This is not the class to be doing that in, because there's really one guy that I think you can count on to be the week 1 starter in the NFL. That's Fernando Mendoza. He's going number 1 overall. So what you have to hope happens is either somebody falls in love with Ty Simpson, who prior to like the last third of the season looked like he was going to be the 2nd overall pick. Maybe a team falls in love with that and they just ignore the last few games of his tape. And, we hope that's what happens. But I think it's more likely that you get a team that's like, you know what, we need a tackle, and there's not a lot of offensive tackles in this draft class, so we're going to trade up to go get the kid out of Miami or the kid out of Utah, or even this kid out of Georgia is getting some first round buzz, because there is such scarcity at that position. So, I mean, we forget that, like, people trade up. Just last year, the Jags traded up to get Travis Hunter. So, you know, if there's someone at a different position that a team covets, and I'm looking at tackle because I know how thin it is on day 2 and day 3. They say, if we don't get Spencer Fano out of Utah, if we don't get Francis Mauanoa out of Miami, we're not going to have a chance at a starting caliber tackle. So that may be the scenario where it happens. And if it does, I'm all for it. I mean, to me, the strength of this class is in the 2nd to the 4th round. It's a bad year to have the 4th overall pick, in my opinion. The player you're going to get at number 4 overall is really not all that different from the player you'd get at 24 overall from where I stand.
Right.
So with there being that lack of a number 1 wide receiver, which we think, at least, because we never know, right? But we think there's a lack of a number 1 wide receiver. Does that open the door for Ridley to keep a spot on this team? That kind of makes it a better situation for him, right?
That's something that I just started talking to Zach about last week. We were sitting at the bar just having a few beers before football and other F words, and I'm like, man, why are we trying to push Calvin Ridley out the door when there's not now? I mean, you know, it could be that the medical's clear on Jordan Tyson and he skyrockets up the boards, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Like, for the most part, like, I don't think you're going to get a receiver in the 1st round that's going to be better than what you have in Calvin Ridley right now. And I don't think you might go into free agency and you might spend a ton of money, but I don't think you're ultimately getting a receiver that is better than Calvin Ridley, who, listen, his last year at Alabama, his OC, Brian Dable, who's now the OC for the Titans. Calvin Ridley already has an entire summer's worth of work with Cam Ward, already has the chemistry with Cam Ward. So I think, in my experience, it feels like Titans fans are let down by Calvin Ridley because he never became the wide receiver 1 some thought he was going to be. But I think he's still a pretty good piece when you factor in the development of Alec Ayumanor, the development of Chimere Dike. If, you know, they go out and add some more pieces around him, some more depth pieces at wide receiver, like they can patchwork this thing together and make it work for another year until they can address it in a better wide receiver class. But I'm in no position right now, if I'm the Titans, to be turning around playmakers or people that can help this team.
Yep.
That's a good question by Joshua there. What do you think of Brazel in round 2 if he slides that far down?
Man, I like him. I think this is a really interesting departure from the Vols wide receiver curse, where some of those guys have made it to the NFL in recent years and they just, like, they can't run routes. They don't know what they're doing out there. Brazel is not that mold. Brazel is a dude. He's big and long, but he can go out there and move. He can run routes. He looks like he's going to be a weapon for somebody. So, you know, round 2, I'm not going to be too mad if that ends up being the pick.
Right.
A lot of love for the Orange tonight. I like this. I appreciate this.
Hey, they got some dudes in this class. We haven't even talked about Bryson Eason. We haven't even talked about Joshua Josephs, Jalen McMurray. There's some dudes out there.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get you back on and talk about some of them guys.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, man, I
Stoney,
appreciate you guys having me anytime.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man,
Thank
that's
you.
great. We're going to go to a short break here. Stoney, we really appreciate you coming on the show again. I'm sure we'll have you on.
Good to see you again, Stoney.
Yeah, anytime. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate it.
See you,
All right, man. See you, buddy.
What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here. Are you in need of professional excavation services? Look no further. Red Zone Builders has the expertise, experience, and equipment to handle all or any excavation project, big or small. Whether you need land clearing, site preparation, trenching, foundation excavation, or any other excavation services, they have you covered. Their team of skilled professionals will work diligently to ensure your project is completed safely, efficiently, and to your satisfaction. Trust the experts at Red Zone Builders to get the job done right.
All right. Hey, man, Stoney was a great guest. Love that dude. Absolutely love that dude.
Man, super smart and talented, bro.
Yeah.
He's writing a book. He's a candle guy. If you got candle questions, you ask him. He'll tell you. He's
You
a
mean
huge
like-
candle. Like, he loves candles, bro. He's a candle collector, and he's writing a book about candles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How did we not get into that?
That is
we
an
can have you back on
interesting
again.
hobby. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
definitely dig into that.
absolutely.
I want to know, yeah, like what kind of candles do you collect? I mean, I don't know.
I think
That's
he's a big
fascinating
Yankee
to
guy.
me.
He likes the Yankee candles.
Okay.
Candles. All right. Well, they do
Yeah.
smell great.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting question by Brian. Just before we get into the ranking of the defensive stuff, Isaiah Likely or Chig. Now, I had this huge debate over the last week over whether we should cut Chig or not. I think it's a definite yes, in my opinion. A lot of people say no because he's already built kind of a rapport with Cam and that he's held steady numbers this season and did better, I guess, with his consistency this year than he has in years prior. However, his yard total looks the same. Anyway, my point is for me, what Chig is going to get offered as that receiver tight end, I think you could get Cade Otton from the Buccaneers, who has the exact same receiving production, but also is a Class A blocker. He has like a 79 run block win percentage or something like that, with 95% of those going for a first down. Just a little pat on the stat there, but I think that guy is the type of tight end that would fit a Brian Dable offense a lot better, and he would be out there for about the same price you're going to get a Chig for. So, in my opinion, that is the way to go.
Well, do you want to pay $15 million a year for Chig? That's the question.
No.
That's what it's going to. That's what he's going to be
That's
getting.
what it takes. I don't know that that's what it takes. Like,
It's
if that's the number, then no. Right, but
Well,
I don't
saying
know that he doesn't take a more team-friendly deal.
15 to 19 million is the number for tight ends this year that are quality tight ends. So
I don't know that he's ever going to be a tight end one, no matter where he goes, though.
Right.
That's my point.
Right.
I mean, I think he thinks he's a tight end.
But can you
one,
convince him of that? That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right.
And since
To me, like I said
Njoku
last
just announced that he's leaving the Browns, that
if
might
we
be
keep him okay, if we don't keep him okay.
Yeah. Sorry, free agency talk. That's later.
Right. No, it's all good.
Much more. Anyway, this week, to wrap up the second half of the show, we're going to talk about defensive grades. And I'm going to start on a sweet note, the defensive line.
Right.
And the best part of the defensive line is Jeffrey Simmons. He kicked ass. I mean, I'll be honest with you, he had a career year. My God, 42 hurries.
He should have been on the list for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not saying he should have won it, but he should have at least been on the list.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What were the nominees? Do you know off the top of your
I
head?
don't.
Okay.
I don't. There was, I think there's three? There's usually three, right? He should at least been on the list. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the man made first team All Pro. He should at least been on the list.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Benito, Micah Parsons, Will Anderson. Yeah, exactly. I can see him on that list.
He could have been on the list. You know, just give him a little recognition.
That's fair.
Well, something that I've never really involved my grading in, or never allowed it to affect my grading, I guess is a way of saying it. Never looked it up as a stat, was how many penalties someone had.
Oh.
But that was the only thing that was in the back of my mind when I was thinking about Jeffrey Simmons and how great he did this season was the penalties. And I'm sorry if I'm being a negative Nancy here.
He did have two.
84 is the exact 84 84. Now,
And does it
only
break
32
down?
of those.
Like
32
total
of them were
penalties for all
actually,
season?
yes,
Wow. I
32
didn't
of
know it
them
was
were
that high.
accepted, and a lot of
Right.
penalties you don't even know about as a casual fan.
Right.
But yeah, when you look up that stat, it's
He had
84
84.
times.
Ooh.
Does it break down what was like personal foul versus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does it break down the
Yeah.
penalties?
So if you
What was
yeah,
his-
if you
what was
divide
his
that
top
by
rate?
17 weeks, how many is that a game?
a lot.
Ooh.
That's the yes, but I do have his information. Come on, phone. It's been slow this year. Or this my God.
Because I would dare,
Anyway.
and here's the reason I asked, because I would dare to say, while you're pulling it up, I would dare to say that a lot of those are undisciplined, unnecessary penalties. And that's the
You
part
mean like
that stands out to
unnecessary
me.
roughness?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the top one?
Yes, by far.
See? And that's
Unnecessary
that's
roughness,
the problem.
45 penalties
Mhm.
of unnecessary roughness.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is 7.
And
That's
you're sure
quite a
this
bit
is
as
for
well.
the season, right? I want to make sure we're
This is for
correct in saying this.
2025.
This
Yes.
is for one season.
That's
This
a
for
lot.
one season. If you
That's
want
a
his
problem.
entire
That's a
career
problem.
number, it's 324.
That's
If you
wild.
want the career number. But
Yeah.
but we're just talking about 2025, and he got 84. Like I said, there was only 32 accepted.
Right.
So those
Right.
are the only ones we really
it's not
think
even
about.
the total number. It's just what's at the top. And it's the unnecessary, literally the unnecessary penalties. Like that's what it is. That's where I have a problem. He put the
Yeah.
team in bad situations by doing things that he didn't have to do multiple times this year. If I have one fault of Jeffrey Simmons, that's what it is. And that's why for me it's not an A+. Like
That
if I'm
is
given a
exactly
grade,
it.
it's an A to A- because of
Today.
that. Like
Yeah.
I need, if you're gonna be a leader on this team,
That's
be a
where you
leader.
get the
Like
plus.
lead by example. That's what I'm saying. So
Right.
that's what I'll leave it at. He's a good player, and there is a high ceiling, and I think he has the potential to play just as well next year as he did this year.
Not
Maybe
as,
better.
even
Gotta
not maybe
clean some
better.
of that stuff up. You've got to clean some. And look, and hey, if you haven't watched his interview with Bussin' with the Boys, like super eye-opening.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
great insight onto when Vrabel was there and this year and the last 4 years, and like just super great information. And a lot of it is explained in that. And he talks about how he's grown as a player and became this bigger person. But even within that interview, there's like a moment where like him and Taylor Lewan had beef, and he's like in a moment where he's having to apologize and talk about how he ignored it. And like he just can't, like it's just that bigger person mentality just isn't quite there yet, that maturity. And like that's what's missing for me. So that's why it's not an A+.
That is exactly it. That is exactly the point I was getting to. He doesn't get a plus just because of that. That's where you get your plus, is by being a great leader. Trevondre
Yeah, I didn't
Smith
realize
is
it was
a
that many.
very yeah, it's crazy. It's a very touchy subject with me. He did good. He played really good. He didn't play great. So for me, he gets a B-. I'm not going to go over a bunch of stats and stuff like that like I normally do. I'm just going to say he played good. He didn't play great. He didn't bounce off the stat sheet, but he did clog up some holes and stuff. It's just he wasn't moving people around like he was in his first year, if you ask me.
But
and
I
I'm
still don't
interested
feel
to
like
see
he
what
had a
he comes
second year
back looking
slump,
like.
though.
I wouldn't call it a slump. I just call it
Yeah.
average. And to be a better team, you have to be better than average. You need second year players to be better than what that was. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm at.
What happened is we had an expectation for Trevondre Sweat, and then last year
Mhm.
he exceeded those expectations because most of
Right.
them were about his stamina. And
Right.
this year there wasn't like that next level step. And I think that's where we're all, going, well, man, there was something
Well,
missing.
let's see what happens this year after he trains with Jeffrey Simmons for this offseason.
That's what I want to see. Can he
Yeah.
get that? Can he get that? But
That fire.
Well, and I think guys like him, and JC Latham and some of these younger dudes, like those are the dudes that need the culture. You know, so like that's the reason you bring in a guy like Saleh. Like that's the whole point. So it's I think there are brighter
Gus
days
Bradley
ahead.
too, man. He's a culture
Gus
guy.
Bradley. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I think there are younger guys on this team. And like, let's be honest, some of these third-year players are essentially rookies because they've had different coaches, different defenses, different offensive, different schemes. Like it still feels like their rookie year. So you have to come in and set that culture. So that's where the hope lies, if you're asking me.
Yeah, and that was the one thing I was really trying to squeeze out of Stoney earlier. I didn't quite get to it, and then I kind of forgot my own damn point. But I was trying to say Robert Saleh brings what to this team that we didn't have before? What are we looking at that we didn't? And development was what I was looking for. I think this guy, personally, this is me speaking now, I think this guy can come in and develop players unlike our last regime.
I do too.
Clearly didn't do. I think, especially on the defensive side, I think he can develop, especially guys like Jeffrey Simmons. You know, the when he gets out of that realm where Jeffrey Simmons gets out of, he needs somebody like Vrabel or Saleh to snatch his ass back in line, and we have that now. So I'm much more excited about going into this season. But anyway, keep going with the defensive line. Sebastian Joseph Day. I mean, he did what Sebastian Joseph Day I thought would do. A little bit better, I guess. So I give him a B. But there we are on that. And then
I'm good with that. I gave the whole line an A overall, but yeah, I think everybody was at least a B level player on the defensive line this year.
I'm sure you're getting to him. Where was Femi for you? I just want to jump to that.
Incomplete.
Was he incomplete? Okay,
incomplete.
he was incomplete for me.
For this year, though, I mean, I'm doing it by position. So technically, Femi is a linebacker. And we're not to the linebackers yet. We're still
fair enough. Okay.
I got you.
Sorry. I am I'm very
keep it straight.
I guess not. Because I'm about to talk about Jalen Harrell as a part of the defensive line, so that just completely throws much out the window. But James Lynch, I wanted to throw him out there too. Guy played pretty decently for a guy that, probably should have been a practice squad player. Thought he did admirably, gave him a C. But Jalen Harrell was an extremely good surprise this year. I consider him a hand in the dirt defensive player. Did I skip? No, I'm not. He's a linebacker. Jalen Harrell is a defensive end, in my opinion.
Right.
Anyway, I think that's how he's going to be used in Saleh's defense. So I think Jalen Harrell should be with the defensive line, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I guess I'm making excuses for my own self now. But anyway, I give him an A because he did great. I mean, 6 sacks from a guy like that. Never thought he was going to come up like that. Had a great end to his season. Hopefully he can keep going with that momentum in the next year. Yeah. Overall, gave defensive line an A-.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm at A level. I'm B plus.
Yeah, I'm B.
I feel like there was more to be desired still. Like, even though Jeffrey Simmons had a career year, like you said with Tavondre and some other guys, I expected a little more. And look, like the lack of an edge rush didn't help. Like, it's harder for the interior guys to do their job when you don't.
Lack of corner really didn't help.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really hard.
I mean, when you can't cover at all, basically. So I mean, so it's hard to put a grade on a unit individually, but if I have to, I guess I'm going B.
All right. So, on to the linebackers, because we're all interested and itching to get to this part. Arden Key, we're going to talk about first because he was damn disappointing, but I don't know. I guess just a smidge above average, because when he came back from the injury,
he was Arden Key. Like that.
I was going to say, when he came back from the injury, he was pretty damn good. I think he went on a streak there, like 4 or 5 sacks. But yeah, just the previous part of the season just disappeared from like week 2 to week 5 until he got injured. So I don't know, man.
C plus.
The missing and the inconsistency speaks louder than what he did at the end of the year. So for me, that's why it's worse. Like I'm at like a D on Arden Key, just because I know
I
what
don't
Arden
see him
Key
being
is.
on the team next year.
I don't either.
I agree.
Because I know what he is. Like I know what
Right.
you've got in Arden Key. So I don't know. I think that's Finney's spot to lose, but we'll see what happens.
All right, and because you asked for it, and now we're here. For me personally, I try to take into account the fact that they're rookies and that they don't have a lot of experience and blah blah blah. But with all that fluffing, I still gave him a C minus. Really wanted to give him a D if I'm being honest, but I just can't.
And see, even if I graded, that's where I'd be. Like I'm incomplete, but if I had to grade, I'm at like a D. Like I was, and I understand it's a project, and I understand it's going to take time, but I don't know.
You remember,
there's just a lot to be desired.
You remember in school when you either got an S for satisfactory or a U for unsatisfactory?
Yeah,
I'm going to give him the U for unsatisfactory.
All right. I feel like he was clicking right before he got hurt. Like the two games, or the game before and the game when he got hurt. Both those games, I feel like he was coming on.
Does the injury concern you with this being a new position and now the injury? And I mean, does that make you a little?
No, because I think the injuries like that just happen all the time now. So
yeah,
I agree. I don't see it as a big red flag. I'm just really interested to see how Robert Saleh views Femi, period. And I thought it was a real interesting choice that out of the 37 players that talked to Robert Saleh that day, the only two player pictures we got out of it was Jeffrey Simmons and Femi.
Yeah.
I just thought that was odd. I don't know. PR does that stuff for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
They're told who to push. Anyway,
we'll see.
Moving on. Cody Barton, the veteran of the linebackers. I mean, he did have 3 interceptions.
Great training camp. Solid training camp.
Well, I mean,
training camp for the history books. Yeah.
So, I mean, he
did his job.
He led the
Titans. It wasn't great, but he did his job.
Believe that shit or not, he led the Titans in passes defended.
Yeah, he did his job.
With 11. 11. It only takes 11 to lead the Titans. Anyway.
I gave him a B minus.
Oh, my God. No, I gave him a C.
I think he got a B minus, man. He did his job, man. He wasn't always great at it, but he did his job.
It looked a little bit better towards the end, but I think that was more of the line and linebackers gelling as a whole than it was.
And it felt like when we needed a big play, he made a big play. So
I felt like he was brought in to play at a certain level, and he just didn't meet that level.
Right.
Despite everything else going on around him, like if I'm looking at it from what he was brought in to do, I don't think he did a good job at that. So that's why I'm at like a C minus. It's below average. That's kind of where I'm at.
All right, I'll give you that. Yeah, because I didn't think he was average, or I didn't think he was at least average either. I thought he was just a smidge below. So I guess that should be a minus. Cedric Gray, the great hope of the linebackers.
If you don't give him an A plus, then you don't watch football.
I watch, but I'm not an A plus.
I did not give him an A plus.
Cedric Gray, he had 150 something tackles, didn't he?
Very impressive.
He did. Very, very impressive. Like you said, very impressive. In pass defense, however, he kind of sucks. He allowed 111 passer rating. In
coverage, when put in coverage, he did not.
He's a liability.
A certain standard, yes.
He's a liability in coverage. I mean, you can
now
say
what he does well. He does extremely well.
Yeah, he digs running backs at a hole,
and you keep him on the football field for that reason. Like I'm not saying the dude's not an NFL starter for this team. Like he's going to be the starter. It's just he doesn't excel in
He's
pass
a run
coverage.
tackler and linebacker.
Yeah, and to
Yes.
be an A+, I need you to be a dual player. Like I understand that I'm nitpicking here, but it's just hard to call out A+ players on a 3-win football team. Like that's where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, yeah, and to be fair, on the defense, when you're on a really bad team and your defense is on the field a lot, you do get your stats padded. I mean, it's just the way it is, and especially if you're a run stuffer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But I'm not taking anything away from the young man. He did a great job, played a great season.
I mean, he
But
had
still gave him
double digit tackles just about every game, didn't he?
Yeah, he was sick. Yeah, no, I
mean-
again give him total props. You know, I love my tackle leaders.
Right.
James Williams, again, another one that I have to say incomplete on just because he didn't play enough at linebacker. However, the one game he did play at linebacker was friggin' awesome, man.
A few times he got in, he played well.
Yeah, you got to give him credit on that. And special teams, he was like a god among men. It was weird.
If you had a good offseason and you told me that Cedric Gray and James Williams were my starting linebackers going into next year with a good offseason, with a good developmental offseason, like part of me is okay.
I'm okay with that. Yeah,
I'm okay
with that. Yeah.
Yep.
And last but not least, certainly not least, Jihad Ward.
Dude, I hope we
Super
resign him.
surprising. All
I
right,
hope we
so
resign him, man.
all right, so every now and then when I'm looking up stats, all right, I already know what I'm going to grade the player before I look up stats. But every now and then I'll look up at a player and I'm like, oh damn, look at that stat. You know, like
Right.
it just I'm a stat guy. I don't know. I get
He showed up, man.
let's not go down that road. Yeah, Jihad Ward had 6 sacks, so just as many as Jalen Harrell, who I gave an A
Right.
to. But he had 48 pressures, and that is a hell of a number. Do you know who else? I mean, Jeffrey Simmons had 64 pressures, and this guy had 48. And if we're talking about snap count, I can assure you that Jihad Ward did not get a third of the snaps that Jeffrey Simmons did.
Exactly.
So this man lived in the backfield and was in quarterbacks' faces all year. If you ask me personally, what I think is the most important re-sign on the defense, it is clearly Jihad Ward, in my opinion.
I agree, man.
That dude has to be inked and kept here as a rotational. But that's the problem. We want him as a rotational, and I'm sure he views himself as a starter.
Well, why can't he be the starter?
I was going to say with those numbers, you could because we should have better people in place.
You still want better talent, but as a rotational, like he's still playing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But that's what cap space is for. Like, yes, you want to spend money in free agency, but at the end of the day, you want to re-sign your.
Seems like Borgonzi's working on the core.
That should be the way it is.
Yeah.
Like it's draft, develop, retain. Like that's the point, right? So I agree. I think it's an important re-signing. I think he played a hell of a season. And again, I think he would be a very good rotational piece.
Yeah, linebackers for me, what did I give him? B-.
Yeah, I'm in the B area for the linebackers.
Yeah, B-.
All right. So these next two positions are going to get a little interesting because there were so many players at these two positions. But at the same time, I felt like it was kind of a waste of my time and yours to talk about players that I really didn't think was going to be
They're all practice squad guys
next year. So with that in mind, I don't even know if I should include Darrell Baker, but I do because he played so many downs or snaps. So, 135 rating, just terrible. I gave him a D because I was feeling generous tonight, I guess. Looking back on it, I want to give him an F. Just change that right off the bat. But, I don't know.
That's just the worst position on the team right now. I mean, just being honest.
It's all bad. I mean, they're all
It's
bad.
the worst position on the team.
Jalen Armour Davis, I did give an F.
That's why I would not mind if they drafted a cornerback at 4.
I mean, he allowed 24 receptions, dude.
I just don't know that you're a cornerback away. You know, that's the
well,
problem.
we got so many parts of it.
It's a start. But I'm talking about just in the secondary. Like, I'm not even talking about the team. Like, I'm talking about just in the secondary. I don't know that you're just a cornerback away. Like,
oh no, I know they got to do way more than that. I'm just saying to get it started
you need
off.
a serious rehaul. But I'm with you. Like, you have to get talent in that room.
Yeah, it's got to be top.
Serious lack of
top tier. Yeah. So I gave them an F overall. That's all the cornerbacks I'm going to talk about.
I gave them an incomplete.
I thought about talking about Micah Robinson, but incomplete on him too. Impressive rookie, but incomplete. Safeties. God, man, Amani Hooker, I was so excited when we gave him that extension.
He had a down year.
And God, he sucked this year, man. 28
He was asked to do a lot.
I agree.
When you have bad corner play, it definitely doesn't help the safety position. However,
I was going to say that's the thing, though. With Xavier Woods and Quandre Diggs, those aren't terrible safeties. Yeah. It's just the fact that there was no cornerback help on the edges. That the inside of the field was just getting eaten up. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that the only linebacker we used in coverage was Cody Barton, and we just discussed how terrible he is in coverage. Yep. So the other one I looked at was Kendall Brooks, and that's just because I think he kind of has a chance to be on the team next year. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I gave him a C. The safeties got a D for me.
Yeah. Was Winston? Did you have Winston graded?
Oh crap! How did I forget about Kevin Winston?
I mean, it's incomplete for me. I don't know that I have enough.
The injuries. I'm worried about the injuries, man. The injuries scare me.
I'll say this. Just in the time that he played, I want to give him like a B.
Right.
But yeah, the injuries scare me a little bit much, so I might give him like a C+.
And look, if it's not for the injuries, he's not even drafted by the Titans. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
very true.
Much higher
yeah, he's first rounder.
If it's not an issue, so I mean, anything you get out of him, you hope is house money, I guess. But I mean, you still
if they can figure out how to keep them healthy, it's going to be good.
I agree. Yeah. 100%.
All right. Moving on to special teams, because we're going to just blast through this really fast, and then we'll be done with all this grading crap, and we can talk about like free agency and combine and interesting stuff. Joey Sly made most of his field goals, man. The only ones he really missed were 50-plus yarders.
Yeah, he gets an A.
He did miss one PAT, so yeah, I mean, I actually gave him like an A-, I think, or A-. But hey, whatever. Joey Sly didn't do a bad job. I'm not upset with him.
No.
Same thing with Hecker.
Just stop changing kickers.
I'll be honest with you. I really was worried about Hecker going into the season. I was he had
a damn good year.
This punter. Well, I don't know if I'd say damn good. I'd say he did pretty damn good. The thing that really impressed me when I was looking up his stats was 28 times he dropped it inside the 20. It reminded me of Brett Kern in his final couple years. He could drop it right where he wanted to, but if you asked him to just boot the crap out of one, it was only going to go about 40, 45 yards, and that's it. But solid B+. Morgan Cox. I'm sorry, did y'all see any snaps going crazy? Did you see anybody fumble snaps?
Yeah, A+. What are we, 10 years now?
He's been an A+ for 10 years.
A+. There's your A+ player right there.
Yeah.
No, seriously, though, the A+ player for me, and this is all special teams, by the way. All these high scores are all special teams. Chim, as just a returner, gets an A+.
Oh, yeah.
He should have had 2 return touchdowns off kick return. He did have 2 returns off punt return. He had a 17 average for punt returns, which is ridiculous. My dude, A+.
It's going to get better.
As a rookie, A plus. Does anybody disagree with an A plus on Chimere DK and special
No.
teams alone?
No.
I'll give you an A plus on DK.
Yes. All right. I knew I was gonna drag one out of you. One.
Yeah, you knew I was giving
As a
it an A
returner.
plus.
As a returner, I'll give you
As
an
a
A plus.
returner. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
he's
talking
A
about-
plus. Yeah.
What's up, Aaron? Yeah, and standout again, I have to say James Williams. You know, I know it's weird, but as a special teams guy, he is freaking crazy.
He's good, man.
I mean, it's insane to watch him on special. It's so fun too. I'll be honest.
He's a
with you,
magnet
watching
to the
him
ball on special teams.
Yep.
just shooting down the field and just decking somebody. It's lovely. All right. Any final thoughts or anything like that, fellas?
Keep up with us. Big stuff coming up. Got combine, got draft, got free agency.
Yeah.
So just stay up to date.
I think they said today that franchise tag starts on the 19th of February to like March
Yeah.
the 2nd.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there'll be some-
go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the franchise tag is the next step. Yeah.
Yeah, we get 17th through the 3rd is the tag,
Right.
and then
Do
23rd.
you is there
February-
any Titans players that will be tagged? Do you think?
Ooh,
No,
No? You don't think they'll tag anyone?
no.
I'm trying to think who's even.
That's really.
Big.
Do you see how fast I answered that?
I don't think
He
you
said
tag
no.
Chig. I mean Chig, but I don't think you tag him because why?
What?
Like he either walks or he resigns.
Yeah,
Right.
no, Chig, peace, bro, peace.
I
I've
don't-
had that
I don't know if there's
conversation
anybody-
so many
I don't know if
times.
there's anybody you tagged.
Right.
Yeah, again, we're this is all coming up. Next show, this is what we're all talking about, all the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then combine starts February 23rd, and then free agency the 11th, and then the draft on the 25th, I think. So we are.
It'll
in
be here
full
before you
throes.
know it.
By the way, nice little tidbit to leave you guys on. Don't know if you heard, but right now we are in a 32-way tie for number 1 in the NFL.
Hey.
That's right. That's right.
It's my dad joke mentalities. Sorry, guys. Anyway, thanks for hanging with us. If you have the whole time, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We
Yes,
do
sir.
it
Y'all
for
better
free,
be liking it.
You know. Till next time, tighten up.
I know.
Tighten up.
Yep.
Peace out.
Peace out, fellas.